My beloved soul, listen carefully. Heaven is rearranging circumstances to bring you and your soulmate back together. Something has shifted in the unseen realm, and if you can feel the subtle trembling in your spirit, it is because heaven has already begun rearranging what once looked permanently broken. What felt like an ending was never meant to be final. What felt like distance was never meant to be permanent. My beloved soul, this is not random comfort, this is a prophetic unveiling. Before you go any further, receive this as an act of faith. Type, "I receive this," in the comments. Like this video as a sign that you believe heaven is moving on your behalf. Subscribe to this channel and click the bell so you do not miss the next divine instruction. And send a super thanks as a prophetic act of faith, sealing your agreement with what is being released over you right now. This is not promotion, this is participation in what heaven is activating. You thought the silence meant it was over. You thought the delay meant you were forgotten. You wondered why everything fell apart at the exact moment you believed it was finally coming together. But what you did not see was the hand of God stepping into timelines, correcting misalignments, removing interference, and allowing certain doors to close so that the right one could reopen at the appointed time. Heaven does not rush divine unions, and heaven does not abandon what it has ordained. What has your name written on it may wander for a season, but it will not belong to another. There were lessons both of you needed to learn separately. There were wounds that had to surface. There were patterns that had to be broken. If you had reunited too soon, you would have repeated the same pain under a different name. So heaven allowed distance, not as punishment, but as preparation. My beloved soul, do not interpret the waiting as rejection. The waiting was refinement. The separation was alignment. You see, when heaven rearranges circumstances, it does not always look gentle. Sometimes it looks like chaos. Jobs shift. Friendships fade. Priorities change. Old conversations resurface in your memory. You begin dreaming about them again. Songs start speaking directly to your heart. You feel a pull you cannot logically explain. That is not weakness. That is spiritual gravity. Two souls that were divinely connected cannot permanently escape the echo of each other. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment. What is being revealed to you now carries keys you have been praying for. The reason you have been feeling restless lately is because the season is changing. The same God who allowed the distance is now orchestrating reconnection. Conversations that were blocked are being softened. Pride is being humbled. Fear is being confronted. Clarity is replacing confusion. Heaven is moving behind the scenes in ways you cannot measure. That third-party influence that caused misunderstanding is losing power. That internal resistance that kept both of you guarded is weakening. The timing that once seemed off is being recalibrated. What felt delayed was actually being divinely synchronized. When heaven decides to move, nothing can permanently stand in its way. Your soulmate has not been at peace either. Even if they pretended. Even if they distracted themselves. Even if they convinced themselves it was easier to walk away. There has been an unrest in their spirit, a quiet whisper that keeps bringing your name back into their thoughts. They may not fully understand it yet, but heaven has been speaking to them in subtle ways. Through dreams. Through sudden memories. Through unexpected emotions that rise without warning. Stay with me till the end, something powerful is waiting for you. The enemy of your union tried to convince you that ego won, that silence won, that distance won. But heaven never surrendered your story. What is ordained cannot be erased by temporary confusion. The bond you felt was not imagination. It was covenant. And covenants are not dissolved by misunderstanding. They are refined by fire. The reason everything had to fall apart the way it did is because heaven refuses to build divine love on unstable foundations. If insecurities were still controlling you, they had to be exposed. If fear of abandonment was operating beneath the surface, it had to be healed. If pride was stronger than vulnerability, it had to be broken. Separation became the classroom. Loneliness became the mirror. Silence became the teacher. My beloved soul, you have grown more than you realize. You have become softer where you were once reactive. You have become wiser where you were once impulsive. You have learned to sit with your emotions instead of running from them. That growth was not accidental. It was preparation for reunion at a higher frequency. And the same process has been happening in them. The version of your soulmate that walked away is not the same version that is being shaped now. Heaven has been confronting their fears. Heaven has been removing distractions that once felt exciting but left them empty. Heaven has been allowing them to taste life without you so they could understand your value without pride interfering. Do not leave yet, heaven has more to reveal. There are conversations already forming in the spirit. There are apologies rehearsing in their heart. There are realizations dawning in quiet moments when they least expect it. What once felt certain to them now feels questionable. What once felt distant now feels unfinished. The reunion heaven is preparing will not be built on desperation. It will be built on clarity. It will not be driven by loneliness. It will be driven by conviction. It will not be fueled by fear of losing you. It will be fueled by understanding your worth. My beloved soul, heaven is not restoring what was. It is upgrading what will be. Even the delays you resented were part of divine strategy. Timing matters. Maturity matters. Emotional readiness matters. If you had reconnected before both hearts were ready, you would have created another cycle of hurt. But heaven is merciful. Heaven corrects what humans complicate. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything. The atmosphere around your connection is shifting. You may feel sudden peace where there was once anxiety. You may notice that anger is dissolving. You may sense hope rising without external evidence. That is confirmation. That is alignment. That is heaven whispering, it is time. My beloved soul, do not doubt the stirring within you. Do not suppress the intuition that tells you this story is not over. The same God who allowed the temporary ending is now rearranging circumstances to write the continuation. Missed calls will become answered ones. Blocked paths will become open roads. Hardened hearts will become vulnerable again. And when the moment comes, it will not feel forced. It will feel natural. As if time folded in on itself. As if the distance was only a breath. As if heaven pressed reset on everything that went wrong. That is what divine restoration feels like. Quiet. Certain. Undeniable. So stand still in faith. Guard your heart, but do not close it. Prepare your spirit, but do not harden it. Your reunion is not dependent on your anxiety. It is dependent on divine timing. And timing is shifting now. Heaven is not asking for your control. Heaven is asking for your trust. My beloved soul, what was written for you cannot be permanently rewritten by fear. What was joined in spirit cannot be erased by ego. The rearrangement has already begun. The pieces are moving. The silence is breaking. The return is forming. And very soon, what felt lost will stand before you restored, refined, and ready. And when it happens, it will not be loud, chaotic, or dramatic in the way your mind once imagined. It will be intentional. It will be steady. It will carry a depth that only separation could create. My beloved soul, heaven is not interested in temporary emotions, it is interested in covenant alignment. That is why what is being restored will feel different from what was lost. It will feel calmer, safer, more grounded. The passion will still exist, but it will no longer be driven by fear of losing each other. It will be anchored in understanding. There is a sacred maturity being woven into this connection, and that maturity is what makes it sustainable. You are not being brought back together to repeat history. You are being brought back together to rewrite it. The same conversations that once ended in frustration will now unfold in honesty. The same triggers that once caused distance will now invite vulnerability. This is not accidental growth. This is divine restructuring. Heaven has been dismantling pride brick by brick. Heaven has been dissolving illusions both of you carried about love. Heaven has been teaching you that real union requires surrender, not control. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment, because what you are hearing now is confirmation of what your spirit has already sensed. The tension you felt was not the end of your story. It was the stretching before expansion. The ache you carried was not proof of failure. It was evidence of depth. Two shallow souls do not grieve each other the way you did. Two casual connections do not leave spiritual imprints that echo for months or years. What you shared was rare, and heaven protects what is rare. There were forces that tried to distort it. Miscommunication attempted to rewrite your intentions. External opinions attempted to plant doubt. Timing attempted to discourage you. But what is rooted in divine purpose cannot be permanently uprooted by temporary storms. Stay with me till the end, something powerful is waiting for you. Even now, as you listen, there are subtle shifts taking place. Your heart is softening in places where it once felt hardened. Their heart is awakening in areas where it once felt numb. You may not see immediate evidence, but movement in the spirit always precedes movement in the physical. Seeds germinate underground before they break through the surface. Reunion begins invisibly before it manifests visibly. My beloved soul, heaven is recalibrating both of your internal worlds so that when you meet again, you recognize each other not just by attraction, but by alignment. There will be a deeper respect. A quieter appreciation. A stronger sense of partnership. What once felt unstable will now feel secure. The fear that they might leave again will not dominate you, because you will sense the difference in their energy. And they will sense the difference in yours. This time, it will not be about proving love. It will be about living it. The divine orchestration includes even the smallest details. The unexpected message at the exact moment you were thinking of them. The random encounter that feels scripted. The dream that lingers longer than usual. None of these are coincidences. They are rehearsals for the physical reconnection that is forming. My beloved soul, do not leave yet, heaven has more to reveal. There were moments when you almost gave up completely. Moments when you told yourself you deserved to move on. Moments when you tried to detach emotionally just to survive the uncertainty. But even in those attempts, something within you resisted total closure. That resistance was not weakness. It was divine preservation. Heaven would not allow you to permanently disconnect from what was still assigned to you. And while you were learning resilience, they were learning realization. They began to see your absence not as relief, but as loss. The distractions that once entertained them began to feel empty. The connections that once seemed easier began to lack depth. Comparison became unavoidable. Memory became persistent. You were not easily replaceable because you were never meant to be replaced. My beloved soul, understand this clearly: heaven is not forcing someone against their will. It is awakening what was always true beneath confusion. Free will remains, but clarity is increasing. And clarity changes decisions. When pride dissolves, truth becomes undeniable. When fear weakens, desire speaks louder. When ego softens, love finds its voice. If you remain till the end, the final word will change everything. The final word is this: restoration is not about going backward, it is about stepping forward together with eyes open. You will not ignore red flags this time. You will address them. You will not suppress your needs this time. You will express them. You will not assume they understand you this time. You will communicate clearly. And they will meet you differently. There will be effort where there was once avoidance. There will be reassurance where there was once silence. There will be consistency where there was once unpredictability. That is what heaven has been shaping. A love that feels chosen every day, not just felt in intense moments. My beloved soul, the waiting season refined your discernment. You no longer romanticize potential over reality. You no longer accept breadcrumbs when you deserve fullness. That evolution is part of why reunion can now happen safely. You are stronger, wiser, more anchored in your worth. And they are being brought to a similar realization. The path back to each other may begin subtly. A conversation that feels lighter than expected. A shared memory that sparks laughter instead of pain. A simple acknowledgement that neither of you truly moved on. Do not rush it. Let heaven pace it. What is rebuilt slowly tends to last longer. Trust the process unfolding. Trust the nudges you feel. Trust the peace that is replacing anxiety. My beloved soul, heaven is not teasing you with false hope. It is preparing you for a fulfilled promise. The reason this message resonates is because your spirit recognizes alignment. The reason your heart feels stirred is because something is shifting. You are not crazy for sensing it. You are perceptive. And perception is heightened when destiny is near. There may still be small tests. Minor delays. Moments that require patience. But do not confuse temporary silence with permanent closure. Do not interpret one slow response as rejection. The bigger picture is in motion. Heaven is coordinating hearts, timing, and circumstances with precision beyond your understanding. Soon, you will look back at this season and realize it was necessary. Necessary for growth. Necessary for humility. Necessary for depth. Necessary for endurance. My beloved soul, when you stand face to face again, you will feel the difference immediately. There will be less defensiveness. Less tension. Less confusion. The connection will feel cleaner, clearer, calmer. And you will know, without dramatic declarations, that heaven rearranged everything to make this moment possible. What once felt impossible will feel inevitable. What once felt broken will feel blessed. And you will understand that the separation was not the end of your love story, it was the chapter that transformed it into something strong enough to endure. Keep your heart open but protected. Keep your faith steady but patient. The pieces are aligning. The movement has begun. And what heaven has decided to restore cannot be permanently delayed. There is a sacred momentum building now, subtle yet undeniable, like the quiet turning of seasons that cannot be rushed and cannot be stopped. My beloved soul, what you are experiencing is not wishful thinking, it is spiritual synchronization. The same God who authored your connection is now editing the circumstances around it. Conversations that once felt impossible are being softened in the unseen. Hearts that were once guarded are being gently cracked open by realization. Time itself is being adjusted so that when you meet again, it will not feel random, it will feel orchestrated. You must understand that divine love stories are never linear. They twist, they stretch, they pause, but they do not disappear when heaven has marked them. The silence you endured was not abandonment, it was divine strategy. The tears you cried were not wasted, they were watering the soil of transformation. And now, beneath the surface, something long dormant is rising. My beloved soul, do not skip this moment, because clarity is increasing and you are being positioned emotionally for what is about to unfold. The reunion forming is not about nostalgia, it is about destiny. It is not about reliving old emotions, it is about stepping into matured love. You are not the same person who once felt insecure in this connection. You have learned boundaries. You have learned self-respect. You have learned that love must be reciprocal to be sustainable. That growth is what makes this season different. Heaven does not restore two broken versions of you, it reunites two refined versions. And refinement requires pressure. There were nights when you questioned everything. Nights when you wondered if you misheard God. Nights when you considered closing your heart permanently just to protect your peace. But something within you refused to completely detach. That something was not obsession, it was divine imprint. When two souls are aligned by purpose, separation feels unnatural because it is temporary by design. Stay with me till the end, something powerful is waiting for you. Even now, their spirit is wrestling with truths they once avoided. Regret is surfacing, not in a toxic way, but in a revealing way. They are beginning to understand what you represented in their life. Stability. Depth. Authenticity. The superficial connections they explored cannot replicate the resonance they felt with you. And realization changes everything. Pride loses its grip when truth becomes undeniable. Distance loses its power when longing becomes persistent. Heaven is allowing them to see clearly, not through emotion alone, but through wisdom gained in your absence. My beloved soul, do not leave yet. Heaven has more to reveal. The delay you experienced was not denial, it was divine timing recalibrating. If reunion had occurred earlier, unresolved wounds would have resurfaced. Now, healing has taken place quietly. Both of you have faced parts of yourselves that once sabotaged intimacy. Both of you have learned what it means to be accountable. And accountability is the foundation of lasting love. When reconnection begins, it will not feel chaotic. It will feel intentional. Words will carry weight. Apologies will carry sincerity. Promises will carry action. There will be a steadiness that was once missing. That steadiness is evidence of heaven's work. You may notice signs increasing. Repeated dreams. Unexpected reminders. A sudden peace replacing old anxiety. These are not coincidences. They are confirmations. The atmosphere around your connection is shifting from confusion to clarity. And clarity is the gateway to action. My beloved soul, if you remain till the end, the final word will change everything. The final word is restoration with elevation. Not restoration to the same level you once operated on, but elevation to a higher dimension of love. This time, communication will not be avoided, it will be embraced. Vulnerability will not be feared, it will be honored. The lessons learned in separation will become the glue that holds you together. Heaven is not just bringing you back together, it is ensuring that when you reunite, you stay aligned. There may still be moments of testing. Small reminders of old patterns trying to resurface. But you will handle them differently. Instead of reacting impulsively, you will respond with understanding. Instead of assuming the worst, you will seek clarity. That emotional maturity is proof of growth. And growth sustains union. My beloved soul, you are closer than you think. The shift may not yet be visible in the physical, but it is undeniable in the spiritual. The resistance that once felt immovable is dissolving. The fear that once dominated is weakening. Love is rising with quiet confidence. You may soon receive communication that feels unexpected yet perfectly timed. When it comes, do not allow past pain to overshadow present opportunity. Listen with discernment, but also with openness. The version of them returning is not the same one who left. And the version of you receiving them is not the same one who once tolerated uncertainty. This is divine recalibration. Heaven has been weaving humility into both of you. Humility invites grace. Grace invites reconciliation. Reconciliation invites lasting commitment. The reunion will not demand that you forget the past, but it will invite you to transform it into wisdom. Every tear will make sense. Every delay will reveal its purpose. My beloved soul, do not mistake the quiet season for inactivity. The unseen realm is more active than you realize. Circumstances are aligning. Obstacles are being removed. Hearts are being softened. Timelines are converging. What once felt distant is drawing near. And when it happens, you will feel an inner confirmation before you see external proof. Peace will precede the process. You will sense stability in their tone. You will notice consistency in their actions. That is how you will know heaven has truly rearranged everything. This love will not feel rushed, it will feel right. It will not feel forced, it will feel favored. You will look at each other and recognize the journey you survived. And gratitude will replace grief. My beloved soul, trust this unfolding. Trust that what is meant for you cannot be permanently lost. Trust that divine timing is never careless. The reunion forming carries purpose beyond romance. It carries growth, partnership, and shared destiny. The separation was the pruning. The reunion will be the blooming. And when you finally stand together again, you will understand why heaven took its time. Because what it was building required patience. What it was restoring required maturity. And what it is about to release will be strong enough to endure. The rearrangement is almost complete. The silence is breaking. The distance is shrinking. And the love that survived the storm is preparing to stand renewed, refined, and ready to last. And as this divine alignment reaches its final stages, you will begin to sense a stillness replacing the turbulence that once consumed you. My beloved soul, that stillness is not emptiness, it is assurance. It is the quiet confidence that comes when heaven has finalized what it started. You will no longer feel the need to chase, to question, or to overanalyze every sign. Peace will anchor you. Certainty will steady you. The urgency that once came from fear will be replaced by expectation rooted in faith. This is how you will know the rearrangement is complete. The energy between you will feel clear, not complicated. The communication will feel open, not guarded. The intention will feel mutual, not one-sided. Heaven does not restore connections halfway. When it moves with completion. My beloved soul, remember this final truth and hold it close to your heart. What is divinely connected may bend under pressure, but it does not permanently break. What is written by God may pause in the middle, but it does not end unfinished. You were not brought through confusion just to remain in uncertainty. You were not refined through separation just to stay divided. The distance served its purpose. The silence completed its lesson. The growth prepared the ground. And now, what was once scattered is being gathered. What was once misaligned is being corrected. What was once painful is being redeemed. When you look back, you will see that heaven was never against you, it was working for you in ways you could not yet understand. And soon, very soon, the evidence of that divine work will stand before you, not as a memory of what almost was, but as a living testimony of what was always meant to be. Trust the process. Guard your peace. Remain open. The reunion is no longer just a hope in your heart, it is a movement in the spirit. And what heaven has now set in motion will unfold with grace, precision, and undeniable purpose. Type Amen.